can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, can that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The iconic voice of one James Earl Jones. Rest in peace, James Earl Jones, iconic actor, winner of the EGOT, that's the Emmy, the Grammy, the Oscar, and the Tony. Probably not best known, but really became a household name once he was the voice of Darth Vader in the iconic Star Wars movies. He was the voice of King Mufasa in The Lion King. A lot of us have seen that movie. Probably all of us have seen that movie. He was also the father, King Joffrey. He was the king in
Zamunda.
He was the king of Zamunda in. I don't know why I'm blanking on the movie. Miguel,
Coming to America.
Coming to America. Thank you. I don't know why I blanked on it just that fast. But rest in peace to Mr. James Earl Jones, as we also bring in the Hall of Famer Rob Battle. So there he is, the Hall of Famer Rob Battle, Coach Santa, the brains and the brawn of the situation, and of course myself. I just pushed the buttons. We are back with the Check Swing podcast. We are live. It is September 10th. It is 8:03 in the evening here on the East Coast. Welcome back to the show. And like I like to start every show, I like to ask my folks how they been. So fellas, how y'all been?
Everybody's feeling good, man. Feeling good. Yeah, your boy did 100 miles on Sunday. Knocked out another century.
He couldn't wait. He could not wait.
Yeah.
He's been chomping at the bit all day.
Yeah.
Wanting to get on.
I'm sorry. I'm definitely going to ask you about that. I mean, we definitely going to get to that, because that just amazes me that like you just throw that out there like that. So we're going to definitely talk about that. Miguel, how you been, man?
Oh, I got no complaints.
James
Earl Jones's death is one of those that, like, when you look at it, it's not like when like Robin Williams passed away, like that, like shook me, like, especially because of the how. But it's like 93 years. It's like, man, he lived a full life. Like you said, he got, and I remember when he was the voice of Bell Atlantic. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But I was introduced to him first in one of the greatest baseball movies of all times, Field of Dreams. And I started kind of like rehashing that and watching that, and it's just such a well done movie. But his part and the way he speaks, about baseball and the beauty of it, especially towards the end of the movie, it just kind of like, wow, the man was a legend. So he's probably one of the first ones to actually make baseball for me like. I'm trying to find it. But he made baseball.
What? Say it again, Miguel?
No, I said he kind of made baseball like an art form to me. the way he presented it in that movie.
I got you. I got you. I can dig it. I can dig it. But as we said, rest in peace to James Earl Jones. As I'm trying to get the camera together here. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Um, week 1 in the NFL has just happened. Just happened, y'all. Week 1 in the NFL just happened, and of course I gotta toot my horn. And Rob, you can join me. Rob and I picked it right in week 1. Week 1, I always say, is the second hardest week to pick. Week 2 is the hardest. Week 1 is the second hardest week to pick. We're on the right track. Actually, the Eagles are on pace to go 17-0 this year. I'm just saying. I'm just putting that out. I'm just saying.
Dude.
They're on that pace.
Dude. The Jinx, come on.
They don't
Now
need
we're gonna lose 4 in a row, and somebody's gonna tear their ACL. Thanks.
They don't need me to drink.
That's
You
always
just
happening.
thanks a lot. How you gonna put that out there?
You got it. One of those starts with 1.
Yeah.
Starts with 1. It was a different setting, of course. It was in Brazil, Sao Paulo, Brazil. But it was also a Friday night. Very different for all NFL fans. Not used to seeing a game on a Friday night. I just want to ask you guys before we actually talk about the game, how did y'all feel about Friday night football? Like, how'd that vibe with y'all?
That was different, man. But I like it.
Do you think it's something that you like get into every week?
I think so, man. I think it's definitely more viable for people, in our age range. I'm not really feeling my Friday nights I'm not missing anything at the club or none of that stuff. So
Right.
it'll be nice to have something on Friday night that you can check out and get into. I think, I thought it was pretty cool.
Miguel, how did you feel about it?
I thought it was awkward though, like in the beginning. I remembered. I think one of our first games under the lights when me and Rob played. I think it was a Friday night, and I remember we played King. We played MLK at our place, and I just remember like, damn, it was like 2 hours in between the game, and stuff like that, and it kind of gave me that. It kind of flashed me back to that time, and I was like, oh man, it's like it's Friday and there's football tonight. You know what I mean? And yeah, I liked it.
I'm sorry. I'm listening to you. I hear you, and I feel the same way. But Rob is going through it over there. I don't know if you saw his face, but he was going through it over there.
Rob is multitasking. He's saving the world. It sounds like
he's saving and a podcaster at the same time.
He's saving women and children at the same time.
We gotta get a bigger house, man. We gotta go bigger.
Man. I'll tell you what, the only thing that bothered me, I enjoyed the Friday night football. I actually even enjoyed not having to wait till Sunday to see the Eagles play. Like, I was able to do other things on Sunday instead of having to make sure I'm at my, in front of my TV between 1 and 4, whatever the case may be. But the only problem I had with it is probably more so because it was the Eagles. I was so antsy before the game. Like, it seemed like it took forever for the game to start. Now, had it been a regular Friday, I'm not doing nothing, it'd have been 9:30 before I blinked, and it'd been time for me to go. But it just took forever for me to get to the game itself. Let's talk about the game. All right, let's talk about the game. There was a lot that I know we wanted to see. We talked about over the past months. What was Jalen Hurts going to look like? What was the defense going to look like? What was the linebackers going to look like? What was Quinyon Mitchell going to look like? Saquon Barkley. Like, there was a lot of things we wanted to see out there. How are they going to go about the new kickoff rule? Like, how are we going to do all that? Miguel, I'm gonna go to you first. I went to Rob first last time. I'm gonna go to you first. What was your reaction to the week one? What did the Eagles? Did they live up to your expectations outside of the pick? I mean, I know you wanted them to win. So how'd it go for you?
I was looking at things from the defensive side because I think that was our biggest liability last year.
Mhm.
So for me, it was seeing how well they covered, on long passes, on short passes, how well they adjusted, and the only bad thing was the Hurts interceptions. Because it's one thing when you throw interceptions, but it was like I think almost all three of his picks were into like double, triple coverage, and it's like, why would you throw that? And then there was another turnover, and all of it was within the red zone, but the Eagles defense held. So I think off the two turnovers, they only scored like 6 points. So that was good to see. Um, and the thing that kind of brought me back to the championship year was fourth quarter, up by 2, and you're running the rock. You're not going with empty sets. You're not trying to go for the home run every freaking play. You're actually running the ball. You know what I mean? And I think that was a good hard fought win. It reminded me of the 2017 season when, I think there was a couple of games where we just had to give the ball to all of our backs to oh gosh, I see their faces, but I can't remember the names. But when we had to hand the ball off in the fourth quarter between Clement and
Jay Ajayi
Jay and LeGarrette.
LeGarrette Blunt, yes, the Blunt.
Yeah.
And going with that triumvirate and killing the clock. So it was good to see that we're kind of going back to those things. But the Hurts picks were concerning.
Rob, how did you feel about
I mean, I think it was a great win. It's always good to start the year off with a win. Um, like Miguel mentioned, that's really good that after those two turnovers, the defense held because that is a concern. I think that I'm curious to see how the defense is going to look once Isaiah Rodgers is healthy and Devin White comes back and what's the white boy corner name? Get his name.
it? Cooper DeJean.
Dijon. So it'll be interesting to see how the defense comes together. I do still see a little bit of a issue with the defending the pass. They got a lot of I think big chunk yardage on runs, which I wasn't crazy about. I'm a little disappointed with Jalen Hurts' first showing, just because last year wasn't a great year for him. So you were kind of hoping that this game would show something different. But it is the first game, so I'm hoping, the next game he's going to improve. But he did drop a nice dime to AJ. That was a beautiful pass. Didn't even have to break stride for a touchdown. So overall, you got to be happy. You're in Brazil. You overcame 2 turnovers. Or no, wait, is it 3?
Right.
3 turnovers. And still came out with the win. I like Saquon. I think he's going to do some big things in our offense. And I'm a little upset they ain't let him go ahead and get the record, man. I don't know why ain't they let him go ahead and get that 4th touchdown. He was right down there.
Wasn't that the bad snap? And then I was like, all right, let's play it safe.
Yeah, let my man rock, man.
Yeah.
Let my man get the 4, man. Let him pass T.O.
Yeah, as much as I like T.O., that whole era was just like you kind of got to forget it. Like you got to kind of get that out of the books. Because he left us in bad terms and went to Dallas of all places, right?
Yeah.
But I guess I kind of agree with the both of you guys on a lot of different things. I I would have liked to see Jalen Hurts look better. Of course, in the beginning of the game, he didn't look good at all. That interception was it was just like what what is he doing? What's going on? But then I had to think about it. Okay, you know what? He ain't live game action. Whether it's his fault, coach's fault, whatever the case may be. This is his first live game action since the playoff loss. So okay, all right. Well, don't do it again, Jalen. But he did it again, and we had some issues there. I was impressed with the defense in that first quarter. Two short fields and held them to whatever they held them to. I was impressed, and I was impressed by them because I just thought that all right, each time I thought, all right, well, this is where the Packers are going to put it in the end zone. So, but then later on in the game, like I don't know if it was a fatigue thing. I mean, it's first game of the season, so how much fatigue you got going on? But it was a fatigue thing because they were on the field a whole lot in that first quarter and the first half. Really, they were on the field quite a bit. Talking about the defense. So those big chunk plays that the running backs were getting, it was concerning. Absolutely, no doubt, it was concerning. I'm just hoping that was a factor of them being maybe on the field too long, and hopefully against the Falcons, we don't see that, right? Quinyon Mitchell, for me, right? I was impressed by the young fella. I was impressed by him. And I don't know, like what I'm thinking he could be, right? What I'm hoping he could be and thinking he could be. I don't know if we've ever had that. And what I'm thinking is the Darrell Reeveses, the Devin Hesters, the please don't think I'm crazy, but the Deion Sanders. I'm just talking about those guys of that ilk, right? We've never had that. And he's got attitude though, too. Like he's in your face with it too. I kind of like that on my team. We never had that on here. We've had good corners. We've had the Eric Allens. We've had the Troy Vincents, the Bobby Taylors. We've had the Sheldons and the Litos and all like that, and whoever else I'm forgetting. But I don't remember any of them having that attitude though. And I like that with C.J. Gardner Johnson back there too, because he got a lot of attitude too. Oh, yeah. I like that back there. I like that in my football players.
Yeah,
I like that my football players like that my catchers on the baseball field.
Peter dinner.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely something that's needed because I think the way we kind of puttered at the end of last season, it was kind of like we were embarrassed last year. You know what I mean? To end the season like that, yeah, that just left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. So it's like for him for Mitchell to come out and start, trash talking to AJ Brown, during training camp, and I was like, okay, let's see what he got because we've seen that plenty of times where a player will step up to a veteran and then all of a sudden he becomes another Jaquan Jarrett, heir apparent to Brian Dawkins, but.
Jaquan, I forgot about that name.
Jaquan Jarrett, Andy Reid. Remember, he said he reminds me just like Brian Dawkins, and everybody was like, "What?"
But well, it's just like Brian Dawkins now because I believe they're both sitting home watching on TV.
Yeah, but one's a Hall of Famer and one isn't. So.
True. One had a better career.
How do you think? Because I know one of the big things that they were talking about was the field conditions and the slipping and the sliding and stuff.
Oh,
which is it almost carries over from the Super Bowl that the Eagles were in. So it's like, and I was reading something today about how that's going to be the challenge going forward when football teams are playing in soccer stadiums because the turf is made different because soccer players are usually lighter, they're faster, they're constantly running. So the object of, soccer is to, you're kind of gliding across, so it doesn't.
But you know what? I don't remember that being an issue a few years ago when the Chargers were playing in the LA Galaxy Stadium. Like, I don't remember that being a problem.
Right, but you're talking about an American stadium versus a stadium in a different country,
True.
and they do things a little bit because I mean you're not playing football all the time in a soccer stadium there, whereas LA Galaxy, I'm sure they use for multiple purposes, including concerts and stuff like that. So,
Point.
yeah, to see, I think it was like the third or fourth carry as Saquon was trying to do his cut, and he just fell right down. You know what I mean?
And I think on a number of occasions, because I like to give my unbiased, except for when it comes to the Cowboys.
Or Embiid.
We can get to that later. We can get to that argument later. Here you go. But the Eagles also lucked out a few times because of the field, in my opinion. Because there were a few times where Jordan Love, he could have. I feel like he could have made a play and would slip. He would slip on his plant leg, or he would slip or whatever the case may be. Like he would break a tackle and then slip. Like there was a number of times where that happened, and I thought the Eagles were very fortunate. And it is what it is. It's just just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. But that also brings me back to last year, and I hate going back to last year because last year is last year. But there was always some factor in those like first 10 games that was like, if this had went that way, if the game would have been totally different. We were slipping on the field too, so I get that too.
No, it was even. It was just something that I noticed for both sides, and I'm glad it didn't wind up being the deciding factor for the most part, or it wound up kind of going away as the game went on.
I gotta assume the guys changed their cleats up because we saw a lot less slipping in the second half. But
yeah, just the only part that I dislike about the beginning of the NOC, it just seems like it's just so many flags, and it's like, I get the whole, lining up, in the neutral zone or illegal formations, but we're talking about like, in some cases, like inches, not feet. Like seriously, it's too much. I noticed it.
Ravens game, right?
Right, yeah, the Ravens Chiefs game. It was just like I think the Ravens got caught for like 10 or 12. It seemed
they got caught like about for 3 in a row.
Right, and it's like I just don't that like would really make a difference in a play. You know what I mean? Lining up 1 or 2 feet or 1 or 2 inches from an imaginary line. It's almost like offsides in soccer. You know what I mean? It's like, why?
I think offsides in soccer is like one of the weirdest calls in all the sports. Only because us in America, we play football, and in football, if you get behind the defense, that's really the goal.
But right, it took me watching my son playing soccer for 3 years to realize that it's a imaginary moving line. So that's why it's like,
yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, but if the line is there, it moves. I got you. And FIFA, I think in the training it actually has the line on where you're offsides.
I learned about offsides in soccer by playing FIFA on PlayStation or Xbox or whatever the case may be. And I played soccer as a kid, and I didn't understand what offsides were. I got called for offsides a few times in one game. I had no idea why. And no, I did not have a coach to explain it to me. I did never ask. So I didn't know till I was an adult how offsides in soccer worked. It just didn't. I knew how offsides in hockey worked before soccer. So it's crazy.
They're trying to eliminate the cherry picking.
Yep.
Catches. Lingering in the back.
Standing down there.
That's why offsides was created in all the sports. That's why the shot clock, was installed in basketball. It's like you could just literally sit there and just dribble.
It actually happened to me, not me, but one time in playoffs in high school, senior year, overtime, Pennsbury, Yeah, I think he was playing Pennsbury. Overtime, they held the ball the entire. I think we had the ball first. We went up, missed a shot. They held the ball the rest of the clock. Went up for a shot and missed it too. Double overtime. Then they did it again. We ended up winning like triple overtime, but we had to change some things. Anyway, I digress. I want to get back to football in a little bit, but I want to talk. Well, let me see. Hold on. Let me look at these notes real quick. I want to talk about real quick a little business. Okay, I want to talk a little business. Kinda. I want to talk about this Charles Barkley, his comments about the Sixers and TNT and stuff like that. I was listening to what you got there, bro. What you got there, buddy?
Got a steak.
What you got there, buddy?
No, man.
I was listening to the interview.
Dinner time with the Hall of Famer.
I'm the taste tester.
That sounds like a new show for New Tools Radio.
There you go. Nice spin-off.
Every time with the Hall of Fame. I like it. And yeah, Charles never holds back. He was on the Mike Missinelli show in Philadelphia here for the whole 4 hours. Always a great listen when he's on the air here in Philadelphia. He's always fun. Had a lot of things to talk about, especially the NBA deals and contract. What's it called? Television rights, TV rights, all like that.
Right. Yeah.
But Miguel, you brought this article to the table, and and Charles Barkley is blaming the Sixers actually for TNT not regaining rights to the NBA. Is that correct? Is that my am I saying that correct?
That's the gist of the story. Because he's claiming that he's getting fired because the Sixers won a new arena, and that's kind of what affected the overall deal, and that's what kind of jacked the what is it, the $76 billion deal with Amazon, NBC, and all the other ESPNs and stuff. So he said Charles being Charles, he's like, I'm not gonna go ever see the Sixers again. There, I'm not gonna go see the Camden Sixers, and but and he was also mentioning how like TNT was kind of running on like a skeleton crew, like it was really just 2 or 3 guys, because they had to make the cuts because they were from the effects of the last TV deal. So, but he pretty much blames the Sixers for the high price of this this particular deal and causing TNT to bail.
I mean,
because he has not been officially been fired, but
they'll be back on next year,
right? But he had been contemplating retirement, so I think it's one of those things where he wants to do things on his own or do under his terms versus having to be forced out. Because remember too, he also tried that. He had a brief show on CNN that lasted like 3 episodes, and it
was it that many?
I remember seeing the one commercial for it, and then I remember seeing, so Charles Barkley's going on a new venture. I was like, oh yeah, he got fired. So it was
and Charles always talks about getting into politics and all like that, but he was doing a show with Gayle King. Like I mean, Charles Barkley, Gayle King, that combination don't do it for me. Like Snoop and Martha Stewart, that does it for me way more than Charles Barkley and Gayle King. Just saying. Like I like Charles Barkley, I'll watch anytime. Gayle King, nothing against Gayle King, but she's a reporter. Like she's not, And
it's still an awkward relationship. Like you live with your friend and your friend's husband, who are not legally married.
I forgot about it.
They all live together.
Yeah, they live in the same house. They got like the same types of jobs. They have like Shih Tzus and stuff.
Let me find out they in.
I didn't know that. I didn't know they all live. I thought Stedman lived in a guest house.
That was always the running joke. I think on her show. I think I watched like
Stedman's a stud.
Let's not talk about Stedman. Jesus Christ!
I wonder what Stedman I wonder if Stedman does anything for a living. Like, we just know he's Stedman. Like, that's not what we're supposed to be talking about, man. But I'm just thinking,
He
like,
does.
and okay, so if he's been, let's just say he's been cool with Oprah his entire life, right? Before Oprah made it big and we knew who Stedman was, he had to be doing something. I
Stedman,
don't know what it was.
but Stedman's job is to be
His
Oprah's
job is
wife.
to be Stedman.
He's Oprah's wife.
Don't do that to Stedman, man.
That's messed up.
Don't do that to Stedman. Stedman is a legend, dog. Don't do that to Stedman.
Stedman
All
married
right.
2 women.
So this is what he's known for. He's an American educator. He's an author, a businessman, and a public speaker.
Boom.
There you go.
So he's
I wonder if he was a public speaker before.
He was a professor. He was, when they say educated, they mean professor.
Yeah,
That man was a professor at a university.
right.
Yeah.
So he was public speaking anyway. You're a professor. You're going to be public speaking.
That's it right there.
I wonder if he. Nah, he probably.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride with you on that one. Anyway, what were we talking about? Sports. Yeah, that's right. I don't understand, and Charles, I guess, knows better than me. I don't understand how the Sixers drove up that price because they want to. So here's the thing: like the Flyers, if I understand it correctly, the Flyers own the Wells Fargo Center. It's going to be the name's going to be changed soon.
It's that was always good. So remember when Ed Snyder was president, right? So Ed Snyder was also the president of Comcast, and then Spectacor, and Comcast Spectacor owned the Sixers and the Flyers, and I think the Sixers broke away once Harris kind of came into it, so now they're in a shared space.
He purchased them from Comcast.
From Comcast. So ever since, I think it was like since year 2, he's been kind of clamoring for his own spot. So,
which I can understand. Me, fellas, let me ask you guys, because we actually never really got into it on this show about the new spot. All of us being from here in Philadelphia, we've all been down to the sports complex. How do you feel about the Sixers playing somewhere else outside of the sports complex, like Chinatown, Jersey, whatever the case may be, Potts, like wherever they? How do y'all feel about that? Like for me, I do not like it at all.
Well, I mean, I think it's a really, first of all, I think it's a really great idea to put the stadium downtown. We need something, bro. We're the fifth largest market, fifth largest city,
Something like that, yeah.
and I guarantee you, we have the worst downtown out of all of them. Like high-end designers don't even have stores in our downtown. That's sad. You can't go to Chanel downtown Philly. You can't go Hermes downtown Philly. You can't do any of that in downtown Philly.
Well, isn't that why they're trying to recreate, redo Penn's Landing and cap it off and kind of build that space down there?
Yeah, and I mean, and then you kind of get rid of, you just bring more vibrancy back to the city. Now, I don't know all the details, and so from what I understand, they're not knocking anything down in Chinatown. So I don't know what their in-depth gripe is, like prices rise. Last I checked, they're not very cheap over there. So I don't prices rising just like anywhere else.
It comes down to parking. It comes down to more people in your area. That's what it really comes down to.
But that's good for business then.
I agree, and I like it from the concept of the fact that, like, it's worked in New York for what 50, 60 years with Madison Square Garden. It's built right on top of a train station.
Yeah,
everybody can get down there if you got the money and you're rich and affluent. You can park down there, but otherwise, everybody park and rides down there. So I like that idea. Camden would be a challenge because now you're adding a toll and a bridge and a river that you got to cross.
That would be it. A
Now-
lot of people
now-
would be pissed off about that.
Now let me jump in on this because yes, I do not want to do all that. I want to deal with all that, right? People from Jersey is like, hold on, homie. We've been dealing with it for 40 years. Well, how many?
Let me clarify this though. Remember, New Jersey's not a state. New Jersey is leftover land that Pennsylvania and New York did not want, and it gets you to the shore quicker. That's it. That's the only purpose of New Jersey. It's practically a public toilet. Okay, so let's just clear that up.
And
Now-
Miguel is definitely working on his goal of offending as many people as possible.
No, just Jersey.
I will say this: it is convenient. It is nice. It's one of the better situations in the nation where we have all of our sports right there in the same, arena in the same area. And I saw somebody mention a comment from another video I think I saw, and they mentioned why didn't they build in the Navy Yard, which they could have. Like there's space.
They still can.
Well, now it's all like they have the development plan out for Mosaic Brokerage.
That's right.
They already got the hotel there. They're doing big storage facility, factories. Like it's all paid and bought. It's all paid for now, and it has a whole development plan.
And
that could have been a possibility. I don't know.
What about the Because I remember when I was last in Philly about 2 months ago. The oil refineries, like I noticed, like we're right off of the Platte or the Girard was the Platte Bridge. They got rid of all of that, and I think they're supposed to be putting housing and development there. But I mean, it looks like you could fit like 12 stadiums in that spot. I don't know if anything is being done with that area.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
You got the Wawa and the Chick-fil-A there. Why not just add a stadium?
Traffic.
Chick-fil-A.
Traffic coming off that bridge. It's going to be hard coming off that bridge to get to a stadium right there, right off. I mean, it sounds perfect because you got 76 let off right there, that Platte Bridge let off right there. But that you know what, that traffic is like. Traffic downtown, traffic right there at that spot would be ridiculous.
But then you'd be able to have Embiid go to his second job at Chick-fil-A right across the street. Right across the street.
I don't even know the Chick-fil-A. I don't even know. You're talking about further down.
No, there's a Chick-fil-A right on that corner when you make the right off of
76, right next to the Wawa.
Right next to the Y. It's right next to the Y, and you go right, and then it's on the left hand side, and then you hit the Platte Bridge.
And I never, outside of like, it took me a while to figure out how to even get into that Wawa, that area. Don't judge me, because I never saw the turn-ins. I'm like, how do you get into this? Anyway.
Are you serious?
My first few times down there, I was like, yo, I just drove right past it because I didn't know where the turn-in was.
It's two rights.
And see, you saying that don't even make sense.
No, you gotta go across the light. You gotta cross the light first.
Oh, if you're coming from the
city.
It's kind of crazy. It's kind of weird, but yeah, I like having everything right there in that central location because there's not a whole lot of other traffic in that area. And what I mean by that is there's not people that are going to, like, people going down there are either going home or they're going to like Chickies and Pete's or something like that, because there's not a whole lot of things down there for you to just go to. If you put it downtown, that traffic downtown gonna be crazy. Then you're putting it on, you gotta put people on SEPTA.
But if you train
like SEPTA right now, like, I'm gonna just say it. SEPTA, you can't pay me to ride SEPTA right now.
But see, that's the thing. I'm thinking, my thought process, I don't know if it's going to happen, they have a plan for that to happen. But like you said, in New York, it works. People just catch the subway there, so maybe that provokes them to put more money into the subway and get that right, since that's going to be the main
because
source of transportation.
You have regional rail coming from what, Bucks County, Montgomery County, and then you have the Broad Street subway. You have the free interchange with the Market Frankfurt L, and then you have regular public transportation. So in theory, like, it literally should work. You're literally telling everybody, yes, you can park down there, but we don't suggest it. Park underneath park at 46th Street, catch the L for 6 or 7 stops.
I'll tell you what. The few times that I've taken trains to professional events, professional sporting events, whether it be in Philly or New York or wherever I was, I hated it because you were like asshole to elbow to everybody. Now, in New York, it was kind of fun. They was chanting and all like that. They was already done. It was kind of fun. But in Philly, I think it's the fact that I was home and then just frustrated that, you know, you in New York, it's like, oh, it's New York. Yeah, okay, it's New York. In Philly, I was like, yo, man, get off me, man. I'm gonna see you on this train tomorrow too. Get away from me.
I love going to Camden Yards because the train station stops right in front of, you know, Camden has its own station, and it's literally like you kind of walk on a slant for like maybe a half a block, and then you're literally at the gate. So it's like the most convenient. Even with the crowds, it's still pretty good.
I got you. Well, we'll have to see how that works out, man. Because I don't know. Maybe I'm spoiled. I just like going down to the sports complex, and plus they
Like,
put all that stuff there now too, with the casino and the Xfinity Live and all like that. They put all that stuff down.
do you always drive the games, or do you take public transportation?
I always drive.
See, and even when I was living there, I still parked and ride because like I didn't want to pay. I couldn't give the Phillies or the Sixers or the Flyers or the Eagles parking money as well as ticket money. Like, I just couldn't do it.
Well, I'll tell. I agree with you. I'll tell you that because I had worked down there at for that TV station, I had a parking pass. So
that don't count.
I would use quite a bit. But after I wasn't working there anymore, I also found out that like after the second inning of the Phillies game, you don't have to pay to park. So I would always show up kind of late.
What?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I know a little bit about that.
You never told me that.
Well, I didn't find out until after you moved. You're already gone when I found out. I just found this out like maybe a couple years ago. Yeah,
I know. I worked down there at McFadden's at the baseball.
Yo, McFadden, man, I had some good times at McFadden's.
I hope you weren't one of the ones we had to put out.
No, I'm not that guy.
I was,
Not that guy.
you know,
He was standing around.
I was security. I've seen my colleagues open up some doors with cranium before.
Here's the open the door with cranium. Here's the crazy thing about you saying that, Rob. I feel like I saw you down there now because I always felt like I've seen you somewhere before.
This was
you work down. I'm like,
this was 2004. This was summer 2004. Yep.
Yeah, I probably saw you there. Yeah. Because if I was coming home, let me think, summer 2004, I think I was living in Maryland, but I was coming home and going to McFadden's, going to Phillies games. And it's quite possible. So we don't have much time left, but I do want to. We have to talk about the situation in Miami on Sunday, week 1. I don't know if Rob has decided to recuse himself from this conversation or not. I was laughing when I saw that. But there was a situation in Miami Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill, also known as the Cheetah or something like that. Not Cheater, but the Cheetah. It's very fast. Drives a very fast car. He was pulled over on Sunday on his way to the stadium for the game. And he had a run-in with the police. We got pulled over, got a run-in with the police. Body cam footage has come out. And I want to talk about body cam footage a little bit too, because I know there's some factors involved, but this has got to be the fastest I've
That's
ever heard of body cam footage coming out ever.
nearly 2 hours. Are you serious?
It's the ever. So that just not for this situation, but that just makes me wonder about all them other situations now. And this is not what we're here to talk about. It makes me wonder about all them other situations where it took weeks for the body cam footage to come out. Oh, and there was no audio on it. Oh, and there was not this one. Oh, and there was not that. This situation happened. The body cam footage came out within 48 hours. I'm gonna put that number on.
Well, there's a clear answer for that. Yeah, we all know the answer to that. I mean, they're going to take longer when it's not favorable to them. Uh, he gave them cause. So regardless, they don't look that bad in the body cam footage. If you, I'm just things have to change, right? But what we cannot do is we cannot give them cause and give them a reason to be able to escape what happens. And that's what he did. So after the fact, was it a little excessive? Yes. But you created the situation. And what I try to explain to my friend today, I'm like, yo, we got to understand that these people are human too. Like a cop is a human being. Yeah, we're held to a higher standard. Even in me as an athlete, I'm held to a higher standard. I can't react like a fan would react if somebody said F you to a fan and they want to start a fight. I can't run in the stands and somebody say F you, Rob, your mom's a HO, a WHO, or what I mean? I can't do that. I have to hold myself. But I could be having a bad day that day. And then I run out into the stand. Like so you already put this man on edge. You don't know what kind of day the cops are having. You came speeding and right away with the attitude. Oh, don't be knocking on my door like that, bro. Not sorry, officers. There's a reason why you put me in. First, you were speeding, bro. Come on, I don't know about y'all, Jay. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I speed. I speed.
Dude,
My average speed is 80 on the expressway. 80. So if I hear the sirens, oh, you got me, bro.
You got me.
You
I
got
lost.
me. Sorry, officer. You know how fast? No, I really wasn't paying attention. But I apologize. I'm rushing home to do something or whatever. And that's it. This is how it should have went. Oh, sorry, officer. Is there a reason? Oh, you were speeding. Yeah, I'm trying to get to the stadium. Got a game today. Oh, yeah, okay. No probably license, registration, give him a boom, get his ticket, and be on his way. That's what should have happened. That's what should have happened. And we're all folks of color. And I don't know. I don't know how many you got. You got boys. You guys got boys.
I'm not a girl.
I have a son.
You have a son. You will probably take this video and show your son of how not to handle getting pulled over by the cops.
Well, it's funny that you say that because this past year I joined our restorative justice program at our school of nursing in the University of Baltimore, Maryland, and I had to tell an unfortunate story about something that happened with me, my son, his two friends, and a young lady that I was bringing home from church one night, and it happened between. We were coming home between Sharon Hill and like Collingdale. Mm-hmm. So just where Springfield Road going straight into Derby, there's like that long stretch. There's a cemetery, and then there's like that little thing. So I made a right turn, and I saw the lights, and there was a young lady sitting in the front, and I think there was a total of about like 5 or 6 people in my car. and I was taking them all home from Bible study. And I remember the lights going up, and then I pulled off to the side or whatever. I got all my registration, all that, and then nothing happened. I was like, okay. And when I look straight ahead, like the road goes straight and then it goes down into a hill, and then it goes into Darby Terminal. And I remember there was a paddy wagon at the end that was blocking the street in both directions. I'm like, what? And then I remember looking at my rearview mirror because at this point we were kind of in a dark area. And then 5 lights came up. And then I counted 1, 2, 3, 4. I counted 7 guns pointed at our car. And I don't know what it was. Maybe it was from what I was teaching that night, but I remember kind of feeling some type of weird air of calm, like, okay, everything's gonna be cool. And I'm trying to calm the kids down because they're kind of like getting like, yo, what is going on? And then the only time I got nervous is they had this little white dude shaking. He was like this, and he was like, owner of the vehicle, roll down your window slow. Like his voice was cracking. And I'm like, I'm not gonna die on purpose. I'm gonna die on accident because of nervous Millie over here. Yeah, so roll down the window, had my hands out. I followed directions almost to a T. And I told them to do the same and this was literally maybe like 2 months after the gentleman in New York, I Can't Breathe. That's when this happened. So it was literally like the start of, it was before the riots in Baltimore, like all Freddie Gray, before all that. But this was like when it was starting to boil over. So I come out and they put me hands behind my back, put me on the ground. And then they do the same for my son, his friends, and everything like that. And I'm asking, what's going on? Can you, whatever. And he's like, we asked the question. So I had that guy, you know what I mean? And then there was this one guy I'll never forget because he was the guy that aggravates. He's the one that wants to get me to throw a punch at him. So I said, I was like, they kept asking us, where are you coming from? Coming from church. And the guy's like, yeah, and I'm the effing Pope. And I remember him because he was pink in the face. Like, when you have the ham that's under the lamp too long, like that was the color of his skin. And he smelled of alcohol. So, he was trying to get me to like whatever. They checked the car, they checked everything, and they couldn't find anything. So then all of a sudden, they lined us all up in front of the vehicle or in the back of the vehicle, and then another car comes up, bigger spotlight, and then you just heard the voice in the background. They said, okay, bring him forward. And she said, there was a female's voice. She said, no, that's not him. And then they did it for each one of us. So we had to do that perp walk. You know what I mean? Finally, after some deliberation, they uncuffed us. And I was like, what the hell's going on? So apparently about an hour before we had driven through that area, there was 3 guys, 3 black males. I think they said 6'2", 6'4", 6'4", that went in and robbed somebody at gunpoint, beat up the dude. He beat up his wife and his 2 kids. So all he said was, you fit the profile and you drive a dark Honda vehicle. And that's all that we had. So unfortunately, you were in the wrong place at the wrong time. He did not apologize because the rule of being a cop, you can't apologize.
When did you get 6'2"?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Oh, you're a jackass for that. I'm 6'2" in my heart, damn it.
It said 6'2", 6'4", 6'4".
That's what I'm like, dude. Are you serious? When I saw the report in the paper the next day, I was like, dude, none of us are even like 5'9". But the scariest part in it was nobody saw the young lady in the front seat. So the one guy that was doing the inspection, he opens up the door and she screamed and he put the gun on her. I was like, she's with us. She's with us. There's 5 of us in the car. He's like, okay. So right there, it's like if you're not careful in those situations, and Tyreek Hill is right. If he wasn't, if it was a different situation and he wasn't who he was, I don't know. I don't know how much they knew about him or of him or whatever. Could have gone very different.
Well,
But
they knew who he was, but I don't like when we use situations when you're in the wrong to try
right,
to galvanize the truth, bro. Don't sit here and try to galvanize the black community
right.
around what you did wrong, and then you got in the press conference and you lied.
Mm-hmm.
What did he say in the press conference?
He said, I don't know why they pulled me out. I didn't say anything. I wasn't disrespectful. I didn't curse at anybody because my mama raised me better than that.
But yeah, he left out the part that he was already
You left
detained.
out the part that you got pulled over. You start snapping at him before we. Oh no! Don't knock on my window like that. Don't knock on my window, and then roll the window already all the way up. What people don't understand, they say you're only required to roll it down to where you can hand them your stuff. Yeah, if your window's not tinted, if you roll the window already up, I'm a cop. That doesn't put me at ease. I don't know what you got in there. I can't see you. So he's telling you to roll the window down and you're keep it down and you're disobeying. And then he tells you to get out of the car, you take your time. So now people are asking like, is it excessive? Yeah, but like I said, those guys are human too. Think about, you get what you give
It's
a
it's,
lot
it's
of times.
unfortunate. It's unfortunate that it's unfortunate in two different ways that you have to humble yourself as a human being, as a person of color, when you get pulled over, and you know
Yeah,
you get pulled over for wrong reasons, right? And
yeah,
even if you get pulled over and you get pulled over justifiably so, and you're having a bad day and you have an attitude, that's just going to escalate the situation, man.
yeah,
It's a shame, That's it's two unfortunate situations because you can't have the bad day, and the cop can have the bad day, and it's unfortunate.
yeah,
You have to be humble, especially when they're having
yeah.
their bad.
And and I'm not naive to the fact that it's different when your skin color is different. You get a little more leeway. I get it, but being being rude and non-compliant is not the way to go about changing the system.
At all.
It's really not. If you feel that way, keep one of your own dash cans in there. Comply, and that way it comes out, shows that you comply with everything, and they were in the wrong, and you file complaints. You consistently put it in, file complaints, and then things can change. But you can't change anything if you're dead.
And you've seen plenty of people do that. But as soon as they get pulled over, they turn the dash cam on. It's like, all right,
Yeah,
and it's like there's enough videos out there to show you how to get through stuff like that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um,
You
and it's funny because I've actually been pulled over 4 times in my life, and I never got a ticket. One because he was my
But knock
people.
on wood. You better knock on wood.
Yeah, no, I'm knocking on everything. The first time I blew a stop sign, but it was the fourth day of 100-degree heat wave in Philadelphia, and the cop's AC was busted. So he looked at my car. He's like, "You saw what you did, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, you got a warning. Go." I was like, "Okay." And then one time I blew a light because I was talking to my wife, and
Yeah, I caught that. I caught that.
you got that. And you know what's funny? As soon as she heard the cop, she's like, "What did you do?" I'm like, "Are you serious? Like, you're not gonna defend me?" She went right back to reading her book the whole time the cop came up. But I got out of that because the cop was cool. He was white, but extremely cool. He's like, it was right around 69th Street. but I was wearing my Penwood gear, and he was a graduate from 1984.
Mm.
Oh wow.
So he was like, what do you do over at Penwood? I was like, well, I work in the school district, but I'm also the baseball coach. He's like, okay, license and registration, da 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 da. He's like, here's a warning. He's like, go Pats. I'm class of '84. I was like, yes, sir, Mr. Sir, ticket writer, sir.
I believe you said that too.
But the,
My wife didn't look at me for like 3 days. She's like, you're such an ass kisser. Like,
but the goal is, man, how old is your son, Miguel?
25.
25. So I assume that you've taught him how to handle the situation. Unfortunately, that's what we have to do. When I saw that, I even talked to my daughter this morning. She's 10. I'm like, Peyton, when you get pulled over, when you start driving 16, 17, whenever that time is, you get pulled over, you comply, you request permission to reach. Your goal is to get home. That's the only goal. Make it back home. That's it. And it's sad that it has to be that way, but I wouldn't have done my job as a father if your child, or Miguel's son or whoever gets into a situation and they don't make it back because they were being defiant or not following the orders of the cops. That means that we did something wrong, because we know what's out there, and it's our job to prepare them and teach them how to navigate
And folks, even if listen, and this is where we mess up. There are certain people that can get away with this, but this is where we mess up. If we feel like we're wrong, like you said, you got pulled over, you deserved it. All right, boom.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't feel that way. Some people don't feel like they ever deserve to get pulled over, right? But if you get pulled over and you still feel like it was unjustified, don't go off on a person just because they may have made a mistake, right? There's ways to get around the mistake, right? Maybe they did pull you over and it was a mistake. Maybe they did pull you and they misjudged it, right? Because like Rob said, they are humans too, right? I'm not making excuses, but they are humans too. They're not perfect, right? They act like they're perfect sometimes, but they're not. Humble yourself, right? Make it home. Make it home.
And you'd be surprised when you do like try to fight the ticket or whatever. As long as the dialogue makes sense. Like a lot of times, half the stuff is thrown out.
Because a lot of times they don't show up. The cop don't even show up.
The cop don't even show up, and just pay. Listen, just pay the administrative fee of like $10, and we call it even. It's like,
Yo,
no,
I got pulled over driving my kid. Me and my wife and my old Peyton were in the car. We were going to Six Flags. I got pulled over on the Jersey Turnpike.
Uh-oh.
And I'm, and my wife is sitting there moving around. And like, I don't know what she was doing at the time, but I'm like, yo, if you will stop moving and moving your hands and stay the hell still. And I'm telling my daughter in the back, if y'all don't sit still and stop freaking moving, we're going to have a problem in here. I like to make it to Six Flags and I like to make it home.
Right.
Okay, so keep your hands to yourself. But I've been in a situation where I felt like now my registration, I hadn't renewed my registration. I didn't even realize. But this was a scenario where you could get snippy. Because this guy, I didn't even know this was a thing. Apparently, cops do this sometimes. I had no idea. I'm on 676 driving. I get on coming from Columbus Boulevard. I'm driving. I see the cop. I drive past him and I get off at the Ben Franklin Parkway. This guy pulls me over when I get off at the Ben Franklin Parkway. Talking about, oh, your registration is expired. Bro, how you know that? You literally just ran my plate in the middle of traffic. Like it ain't.
They're allowed to do that.
It's not like we were, it was a traffic jam. Literally, we're all moving. Like, come on, bro. They
were
I wanted to be like, you ain't got shit else better to do. Like what? That's what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? Like, why are you bothering me right now, bro? We in the middle of traffic. You just took your time to get off at my exit to pull me over and give me. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Come on, go catch a real criminal.
It,
That's what you want. That's what I want to say. I got pulled over for tent, bro. If you don't leave me alone for my tent and go catch a real criminal, you want to sit over here, pull me over because of my tents. You leave me alone.
shout out to the good cops out there that actually do their job for the right reasons,
Yeah,
and the
because
big
they
F
do exist.
the ones that do it for the opposite reasons. All right, big F you to those people. I don't care who knows it. All right,
Sure.
look, we're gonna get up out of here. It is about that time. I hope the Phillies won. I don't know if the game is over. We didn't get to go into the Schwarber leadoff debate because I think I've changed my mind on it, Miguel. I'll tell you that right now. Maybe we'll do an Instagram live one day and talk about it. And I'm not going to keep on going because it's going to encourage more conversation, and we got to go because it's bedtime for some people. So,
gotta check out this debate, man.
and it's debate time
see what
too.
these folks got to say.
So we will leave you with some words from the great James Earl Jones from the movie Field of Dreams.
Rest in peace. I don't think nobody here.
We need the sound, Miguel. We need the sound. You forgot to give us the sound on that one, Miguel. We was almost smooth with it. We was almost smooth.
I did have the sound that says share screen. Also share tab audio. Yeah, I did that. All right, let me try it again.
Try it again.
You hear it?
No, sir.
You sure you clicked the shared audio? Then?
Yeah, let me try it a different way.
3 strikes, we out.
I know.
Don't kill me, but I don't think I've seen Field of Dreams.
No, you're fine. It's not your sport of choice.
Yeah, but I like all movies, man.
So I don't believe I've seen Field of Dreams either.
No.
Which I already told my wife that Miguel's probably going to get on me about that, but my wife then got on me about it because she's actually seen Field of Dreams.
I'm gonna watch it though. I'm gonna watch it because I saw the other joint. Kevin Costner was in another baseball movie. I think I saw that.
He's in quite a few.
I saw Bull Durham. I seen all of them. So,
who was in The Natural, Miguel? Who was that?
That was Robert Redford.
Robert Redford. That's a good one. I like The Natural.
Wait, is the Field of Dreams Build It and They Will Come? Is that Field of Dreams too?
Yep.
Okay.
That's Field of Dreams. I'm thinking of. I said Bull Durham. Costner wasn't Bull Durham.
No, Costner was Bull Durham.
He was Bull Durham, but he was also. Correct me if I'm wrong, Miguel. I forgot what the movie was called, but Eliminate the Mechanism. You know what I'm talking about? He was throwing the perfect game. Pitcher was throwing
yeah.
Oh, he was in another one. Yeah,
he was in that game. Yeah, he was in that too.
All right,
I saw all them, James. Yeah.
We're gonna give this one more shot. Here we go.
Ray, people will come, Ray.
They'll come to Iowa for reasons they can't even fathom. They'll turn up your driveway, not knowing for sure why they're doing it. They'll arrive at your door as innocent as children, longing for the past. Of course, we won't mind if you look around, you'll say. It's only $20 per person. They'll pass over the money without even thinking about it. For it is money they have and peace they like.
Ray, just sign the papers.
And they'll walk out to the bleachers and sit in shirt sleeves on a perfect afternoon. They'll find they have reserved seats somewhere along one of the baselines where they sat when they were children and cheered their heroes. And they'll watch the game It'll be as if they'd dipped themselves in magic waters. The memories will be so thick, they'll have to brush them away from their faces.
Ray, when the bank opens in the morning, they'll foreclose.
People will come, Ray.
You're broke, Ray. You sell now or you lose everything.
The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball. America has rolled by like an army of steamrollers. It's been erased like a blackboard, rebuilt and erased again. But baseball has marked the time. This field, this game, it's a part of our past, Ray. It reminds us of all that once was good, and it could be again. Oh, people will come, Ray. People will most definitely come.
Ray, you will lose everything. You will be evicted. Come on, Ray.
Not saying